From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Well, not canceled yet, gentlemen.
We're trying our best.
It's always a surprise. There's not people with signs picketing out front every time I come to work every single day. It's a little surprising to me.
I feel like I've been doing a good job of smoothing over Colt's messages.
You have, you have been bailing us out left and right with the Colt issue, as we'll just call it, the ongoing quote unquote Colt issue.
There's going to be a book made of all my brilliance.
Called the Colt issue. It's going to have nothing to do with the Kentucky Derby.
Nothing to do with it. Well, welcome back to the Power Move, everybody. I'm John Gafford. With me, as always, liquored up middle of the day. Actually, now drinking chai. Oh, he didn't get chai tea latte. He's got coffee. Caramel black coffee or whatever it is. Colt Amidan.
Sober up.
And Chris Connell, Esquire.
Nice to be
I'm
here.
not doing I'm not doing the fan noise. I'm already over it. Again, we're looking for a new noise for the Power Move. If you have something you think, your best Boston accent, that's a power
Boston
move.
accent, best,
Whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Thick, though. Make sure you
send
have
it up. Could be an old lady screaming, that's a power move. Whatever you want it to be.
African.
Where's the beef?
Just as long as
where's the beef lady?
Where's the beef lady?
Don't be South African.
Whatever.
Why not
South African?
Because it makes me think
it's a power move.
Think of Pistorius.
It is. Whatever you want, send it in. We're going to try them out. We'll see what we're working with. And we'll go until we find something. But this week on the Power Move, we'll talk about a couple things. Man, first of all, Hurricane Ida we're going to talk about. I want to talk about direct mail strategy. I want to talk about what a purpose-driven business means to you, how to run a purpose-driven business. And I want to talk about imposter syndrome. So there's a lot of things we're going to get to. First of all, Hurricane Ida, man, not good for everybody down in the Bayou State right now. Lots of stuff that's not going well. If you can, I'm actually not going to come out and say exactly who to give to yet. When Katrina hit, we did a fundraiser for them. I'm sure there'll be some people that need money. There's Cajun Army that actually was going out saving some people. There's Red Cross. I'm not going to say who to give money to just yet. I'm going to reserve that till I can see from my friends in Louisiana where the most bang for the buck is. A lot of you probably don't know this. Louisiana is like my second home. I'm in a Mardi Gras crew. So is my wife. We spend a tremendous amount of time there. We have more friends in Louisiana than I can even count. I have some great clients in Louisiana. It's really like my second home to me.
It's a wonderful place.
It's a wonderful, wonderful place. I love it so much. And anything we can do to try to help that, we will. And we'll be doing a fundraiser here with Simply Vegas that'll open up to all agents because we just want to raise as much money as we can to help those people out. But yeah, I'm over thoughts and prayers. I'm not going to say thoughts and prayers to my friends in Louisiana. I'm not. I'm going to send them some money. I'm actually going to do something and take some action. Yeah. I think if I'm a politician, don't say thoughts and prayers anymore. Give me some action.
Yeah.
Stop with the thoughts and prayers.
I just want to hear what you're going to do.
I'm over thoughts and prayers. I want action. So I'm not saying thoughts and prayers to folks in Louisiana. I'm saying I'm going to figure out how to raise some money, send it to the people that are going to get it into the hands of the people that need the most, and I'm going to do it this week. So that's
do you remember when I was making y'all watch the Anthony Jeselnik thoughts and prayers?
That's who you see who your friends are. That's who you find out who your friends are. Who your friends are. You watch Anthony Jeselnik.
He's got this great line in that whole thing where he goes, when you say thoughts and prayers, you're being disingenuous. You're not giving any of your time, money, energy, whatever.
No.
All you're saying is, don't forget it's about me.
Yeah.
Don't forget that I'm sad too.
Yeah, don't forget I'm sad too. Exactly.
There's a lot of horrible things going on.
Yeah.
But God forbid you forget about my presence on social media for half a second. Because thoughts and prayers mean nothing.
Yeah, you want to post something about Hurricane Ida and the folks that are affected down in the Bayou State, post your receipt for your whatever donation you made to wherever they're going. I mean, my buddies in Beth and Ezra through the Ezra Foundation do such a great job. Last time there was a hurricane down there, we sent them money because, they were getting it into the hands of people that needed it. Yeah. And that's probably where it will go again. But yeah, more details on that to come as we go along. But as I'm sitting here, I'm going to do something you guys, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, Stu. I don't know if you can turn the TV up a little bit, but I got this dude on my social media that just hit me up, and I want him to ask this question. I'm gonna try to call him, and I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this or not. We're gonna give it a whirl and see if you can hear it. I think you probably can, but I'm gonna call him through the board and see if we can get him to answer.
Turning into Love Line.
It is, dude.
I get nervous to hit any dude in my.
I think it's there. Hang on, Juan. How are you, man? Hang on a second. Juan,
hey,
you
how's
there?
it going, John?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, sir.
I can hear you, dude. I don't know if the rest of the guys can hear him or not. I don't know if you can. I got to put the headphones on, but So we're talking a little bit about imposter syndrome here on the podcast, and you asked a question. You asked a question to us, and what you want to read the question? Read it back word for word what you wrote.
So pretty much, let me see. I'm driving, so I'll try to read it. So
then I'll read it. You keep driving. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
It says, it says, John, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Question: I have a deal right before me that would literally be life changing. I find myself almost not motivated to press forward on it. Am I burnt out? Am I afraid to take it up another level? Have you ever had this feeling?
Absolutely. Oh my God, I have that feeling constantly. When something comes that almost is too good to be true, you do feel like a bit of that imposter syndrome. And it's because when you're self-aware as a human being, sometimes you should have a bit of doubt in the mind, hey, I got to be prepared for this, right? It's just a pause. It's a natural response to anything that's good or bad. Right?
Well, I think, you know what I always think about moments like this? I think about the Doors movie. I don't even know if Jim Morrison ever naturally said it, but when he said it, like, I have the heart of a poet, but with the soul of a clown, destined to screw up at the most opportune moments.
Sure.
It's like, I think we're all a little bit pre-programmed to self-sabotage ourselves, dude. I don't think that's unique to you, man. I think it's there. So, I think too, what you need to do is you need to figure out why you do the things you do, man. Like, what's your big why in life? What is it?
Family, right? Family. I mean, obviously, I came from nothing, right? And I was that, party kid through junior college, right? I wasn't supposed to go nowhere. Before that, I had my time, and then I did it. I proved everybody wrong. So, here I am. Fast forward, I have a wonderful wife. We have 5 kids. And obviously, I've always been pretty competitive, right? But I've always wanted to prove that I could have a little bit more, right? Do a little bit more.
Well, let's do it the easy way, man. Let's put a dollar figure. You don't even need to tell me what the opportunity is. Just what's the dollar figure that it turns into? What does it turn into for you, dollars wise?
So what does this turn into? Obviously, it's big. Probably, I can tell you, so over 70 mil, right? Multifamily. Been playing it with it for a while. 70.
Okay. And what could you do with that money that would positively impact your kids' lives? Forget about you, dude. Don't buy one thing for yourself. What would you do with that money that would positively impact your children? That's it.
I mean, for me right now, I think the way I'm thinking is their future, right? College. We have 5 kids, right? It's pricey. Obviously, they're all into sports, right? Maybe getting some additional coaching, some additional trips, right? We want them to see the world. We want them to see the world. We have plans, right? Obviously, COVID shut all that down, I think, for everybody. In the world, but we want to get them out, right?
Well, let me ask you this: if they saw the world, how would that impact them as human beings? What would that do for them as humans?
For me, I think it would allow them to kind of open up that mind, right, and think, man, there's more in the world to Central Valley, California, right? Like there's more things out there that I want to see, which would kind of motivate them to achieve different things in their life, right? Like, I want to get education. Yeah. I want to go to college in Oklahoma, right? And then travel the world and get a job that helps me do that, right? So that's what I want them to see. With us, we're country folks out here. We're, in a small town, but, I looked at life, the world late in life, right? And I still want to explore more. But then I was like, man, why didn't I see this when I was a kid? Well, unfortunately, my parents weren't able to provide that for me, right? But obviously, we always want to take it a step above what we had, right? So that's why I want them to explore. I want them to see. I want that to motivate them to explore the world before, they get married, right? Before they make decisions.
You think that would make them better human beings if that happened?
I think so.
Is there any better goal for anything than to make your kids better human beings? I mean, is there any better is there any better goal in life than to try to make your kids better human beings? I mean, as an AP watcher and Aston Martin Vanquish, is that? I mean, no, granted, that's Vanquish is pretty strong.
I mean, right? No,
really. But if you can't find anything that you want, man, if your life is set, if you're like, I am happy where I am. We did a whole talk about this last week about success and what your definition of success was, and it's different for everyone based in your life. And if you find that you are comfortable in life, you are comfortable. And that's where most people stop taking risk, is when they achieve a level of comfort. What's going to push you through to be able to or want to take that risk to the next level is going to be goal transference, which is meaning stop doing shit for you, man, and start doing it for your kids. Look at how the money you make is going to positively impact them, and it will then remotivate you to do that, because it's weird what we do for our kids as parents. I mean, Colt's daughter's a serial killer, and he's there's
that old I'm saving up for her lawyer fees,
her quinceañera.
But no, I think
it's gonna be in jail. How much is a quinceañera in jail?
Oh, like 20-30 grand. But
in the slammer.
Yeah, I agree with John and everything. And risk, there's different risk, and you just need to make calculated risk. And I think everybody, just like Chris said, doubts a little bit. My business partner and I've been doing it for 18 years. He's been doing commercial real estate for 24 years. He just made this comment like 3 weeks ago, like, God, do we know what we're truly doing still? And it's you've got people that have been doing this a total of 40-something years, doubting themselves always.
Yeah.
I talk about that with the Dunning-Kruger all the time. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you become an expert, the more you're going to have self-doubt down that valley of despair. And that's kind of where you at least know that you're a self-aware human being. Now, that's the beauty of it, is if you can reflect on it, means you're not a psychopath. If you're the guy that just walks in and just starts shooting and then thinks about it later why he did it, those are the people that go broke. They're also the people that become wildly successful, but they also go broke. If you take really strong, measured, calculated risks, and you understand your tolerance, and you've gone through your whys, as John was saying, and you figure it out, and you want your kids to kind of go see the world, and that's kind of why we get out of bed in the morning. Try to make the next generation a little better than we had it,
and that's it.
Forward, to the point where your kids, give your kids those opportunities, But
on the same side of that spectrum, though, you've also got to calculate the risk. Like, what's the downside of this if it goes south? What's your downside one?
But I'm one of those people that I think you should take risks in business. Your personal life, John and I we were all talking about this, a couple weeks ago, where, how old are you? If you're 35, 40, I mean, swing for the fences. You did it before, you can do it again. It's really not that difficult. Right. If you're 65, buy fixed incomes, buy muni bonds.
A little bit more conservative with your
if you have time and you have the will and it's not going to, that 12 months of, is your kids going to eat for a year? Gamble on yourself in business.
Always. That help you, brother?
Yeah, that helped, man. That's awesome.
All right, man.
Hey, to your point too, last thing is the only thing you can spend money on that makes you wealthier is travel. So, I'm really glad that that's your guys' motivation, because I've never met a well-traveled racist. I've never met a really well-traveled person that doesn't understand the value of others' culture, and those people end up being more successful because they are open-minded and can see past their own tunnel vision.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Right. And here's the deal.
That's a power move. That's a power move, Connell. It's solid.
Boy, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just this morning I woke up, I was like, I gotta message somebody. So I thought John was the first guy that popped in my head.
Oh, that's it.
So man, I appreciate you guys, man.
You bet, man.
Thank
you.
Good
luck. See you, man. Well, that was cool, man. I kind of like the caller.
That was great.
That's a cool little deal. I think that should be a regular. If you would like to have your question answered on the Power Move, just reach out to me on social media, man. I'm happy to put you on. It was no problem. He literally hit me through Facebook, and it was just a really good pointed question that I thought was great. But I think something interesting that was brought up there. Go ahead.
You had a really good point on social media the other day.
What was that?
When you were younger, you wanted to be the smartest guy in the room, and you failed to use the opportunity to ask questions and learn.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake.
What he was just doing right there was reaching out
there. Yeah, for those of you that didn't see what Chris is talking about, I made a post on social media that said my biggest regret from my youth, and they always do those. If you could go back and tell your 20-year-old self something, what would it be? If you always have to see those posts. And for me, it was literally just constantly. It was so. My self-worth was kind of wrapped up in being that smartest guy in the room, and if I was around smarter people, rather than take the opportunity, and I was actually around some fairly smart people through my life, taking the opportunity, saying, yo, teach me, impart some wisdom on me, help me get up to the next level. I was like, let me fake it and act like I'm already kind of where you're at, or fake it and kind of act like I already know the things that you know. Yeah. And I spent so much time doing that. I literally probably would have accelerated my success by a decade had I just started being around all of the people there. A great example of that, one of the first agents we had here, Chuckets, is one of the first guys we had here. He was the number one agent in the company last year. He's huge on YouTube. when he first was here, he was coming up as an agent. I mean, I was his first broker I wasn't his first broker, but he came to work at Keller Williams when I used to own that company. And then he transferred here when we moved here. But he was always like, every day would come in and say, teach me something, teach me something, teach me something, teach me something. And it was this thirst that he had for knowledge, which has propelled him to, I mean, he's a 7-figure earner just on commissions. I mean, he's banging down $1.5 million a year probably on commissions. And it's because he spent 10 years to and it wasn't just me, to everybody he could get near saying, teach me something, teach me something. And I think
he still to this day
does
that.
it.
If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Wrong room.
Yeah.
But it's funny because look how successful you are now, right? You're very successful.
Let's look at it, Colt.
Let's look at your success, right? No, but
let's celebrate
your
damn
success, John. No, but the last 2 years, how many masterminds you jumped into? Like, most people would take off at that time trying to absorb more and more, knowledge where you're at in your point of life. And it's funny because the higher you go, the more you're wanting to learn. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do or don't see. Well,
and it's like the more money you make, you can just invest. You can just invest in the next room. Right. One of the masterminds that I'm in is $30K. To be in. I'll probably be in one next year. It's $100K a year to be in for, and that's for the year. But every one of those masterminds that you join, if it's a real one, there's certain people out there looking to steal your money, but these guys all said, like, look, at the end of the year, if you don't feel like you've gotten your value out of it, then I will give you, we'll give you as much as you need till you feel like you've gotten your value. I mean, even the $30,000 I invested in the one that I'm in now, I got that. The reason I invested in it is I went to a dinner to like prospective members of this group, and literally sitting at a table, I got a tip from a guy that was opening manufacturing plants in Texas about Texas grants for new business that essentially financed some of our Texas businesses we were getting to open, and it was worth more than $30,000. Right. I'm like, if I just got that tip sitting at this table with this dude, then what am I going to get when I really delve into this? And it's been amazing. I mean, it really has been. I'm going to say, one of the things that comes up, and I think this guy had the same problem that was just on the call, is not understanding his self-worth, not understanding the value. It goes hand in hand with kind of imposter syndrome. And I'll tell you a story today about how important it is to know your self-value. I got a call from a think tank, quote unquote, consultancy, which I do sometimes because they look for large brokers to help them with a project where they want to pay you to consult with their client and give them advice or guidelines about the psyche of the business or which way we think the business is going or whatever it is. And they called me and, asked me a handful of questions, and they were referred to me by another guy. By another broker in town that's a good friend of mine, said you should call him as well because he did it. And I answered the question. The guy goes, okay, that's great. They're like, okay, so would you be free like this Friday to talk to our client? And I said, yeah, I can probably make some time between 12 and 3. I'll give you an hour if we can do that. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, well, what's in it for me on this? And they're like, well, we're going to pay you $100 for the hour. And I said, then I won't be there. Like, there's no chance. Right. And then she's like, well, what's it going to take to get you there for an hour? I said, I won't talk to anybody like this for an hour. I said, look, time is the only commodity I can't get back. Yeah. So I value it more than most things. Right. So here's my number. And it was kind of like a little bit of a sign. I'm like, I'm fine if we don't do this. And she's like, no. Because it's your first time with us, would it be okay if we met somewhere in the middle? And I was like, no, it wouldn't. You called me. I didn't call you. I didn't fill out a job application to get this one. Yeah. Like, if you want because what you're missing is you're not paying me for the hour. You're paying me for the 15 years. You're paying me for the 15 years that it took to make you want to talk to me for an hour.
That's right.
That's what you're paying for. And I think that's something that people lose sight of so much, is not understanding how to value themselves properly.
Well, I unfortunately am in a job sometimes in my cases that aren't real estate, commission based or personal injury, where we have the opportunity to do it on contingency. My hourly billing, I do know what it's worth because it's one of those weird things when you're an hour biller. You are at least reminded of, hey, this is what this is worth, and your client will let you know, and opposing counsel will let you know if you move for fees and costs. And there are other sides. So I'm kind of in a weird position. But how many people sit down and actually calculate the time they spend on stuff? I tell this to my wife all the time for the stuff she sometimes does and gets paid hourly for. I'm like, what? Think about, do you think that the value that you're being paid for those hours is worth what you do?
Yep.
No.
No.
Well, and I think with real estate, this happens every day. When people go to get listings, when they're sitting there and they're valuing themselves by the commission rate that they offer. 100%. Yeah. And, when we did an objection handling class not too long ago, all everybody wanted to talk about was how do you handle when they want to talk about your commissions or get your commissions lower? That's all they want to talk about. And my response was, if you've done such a poor job presenting your value and explaining why an experience with you is different and better than it is with somebody else, then you deserve to be on the sale rack.
Sure.
Yep.
You should be on the sale rack.
And I don't think people, I think people, especially in the newer, when you're new to an industry, you're chasing a paycheck so bad that you devalue yourself so much that, I had a guy go, I need an hour. What do you need for it? To figure out how to close this real estate deal. All right.
I remember that.
I go, $1,000 for consulting. You get 1 hour. That's expensive. Okay, don't use me. Hour later, he calls me. Let's go. That guy, like John said, he didn't get $1,000. He saved tens of thousands of dollars of what it is. But there's people that say, I'll do it for $50. Like, why are you wasting your time? You don't have value in yourself, and that's the biggest thing new people do.
Well, and what's worse is, in case you haven't figured it out, the world's become a very connected place. Yeah. And as my dad just say, you can't get a little bit pregnant. Once you start,
no such things as halfway crooks.
Yeah. Once you become a whore, you're a whore. Because if you do it for somebody else for this amount, everybody you ever do business with that hears about that is going to expect the same thing.
And that's your number. That's not shaming sex workers. That is a general term about. This is how we get us not canceled, is by me caveating.
Yes, exactly.
Socially, you say that louder.
That's why you're here.
This is not Connell. Shaming sex work.
702 Connell for all your canceling needs.
It is just stating that a whore is not a non-gender specific term about people that trade their time and morals for things that they.
Speaking of trading time for money.
It is interesting. You know what's funny, John, when you talk about that? Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
He is in a very kind of unique situation because he doesn't have an agent.
What?
His mom's his agent.
Come on.
Lamar Jackson's mom's an agent. And how much did Patrick Mahomes' last contract for?
Oh, God.
$500 million.
$1 gazillion, yeah.
I'm not, so $42 million a year.
And what did Lamar sign for?
So here's the thing, though. Lamar Jackson is one of the only people on earth that may get away with not having an agent. Because you know what a quarterback is worth.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a market for it.
There's a market for it, and it's been established by Josh Allen and him. And he may be the kind of guy that instead of hiring a sports agent to take 10% of your take 10% vig off it, maybe get an attorney, right, to negotiate your contract for you.
Because here's the market value.
Here's the market. I know what it's worth.
You don't need it to negotiate. Just read your contract. Because you know what you're worth, right?
No, but there's guarantees. There's all these things.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That's where
you know what you're worth. You know what you're worth.
But what's guaranteed. What's showing up at OTA, whatever. Not to make this an NFL podcast, but the concept is only in very. So there's times when people call me and they say, "Hey, I'm the agent's too much because I've got this deal basically done. I found my own buyer." I did this. I've had people call me and say, I found my own buyer. I have this thing. We just need a contract reviewed. Can you do it as an attorney? And I go, it's going to have to be a flat fee because I'm not going to bill you hourly because, it's unreasonable for me to take on this liability.
Right.
Oh, see, that's what people don't understand.
Yeah. It's the liability. It's not just my time. I'm taking on your liability now. So
anytime someone looks at it.
So I get it, but this is going to be a flat fee. And they'll be like, okay, but I'm not paying a realtor this X amount of percentage. And I go, okay, maybe in your instance, you didn't need somebody particularly to go through and find you a buyer and add that value. Mm-hmm. But if you're sitting there from day one and you don't have any of that already pre-done, then that's a big opportunity to show what value you can create for somebody.
Oh God. Mm-hmm. Speaking of liability, so there's a certain class of real estate asset. There's a certain class out there, and if you're not this person, I'm sorry, I'm generalizing people based on the things that they buy. But I like to feel that people that are interested in buying downtrodden, super low income fourplexes to all be of the same type of mentality. If you desire to be a slumlord, you're a certain type of person, and dealing with you only kind of goes a certain couple of ways. And we have a couple of those people that are just, this is their product that they like to buy, their buyers. And a couple of our agents deal with these folks. And most of them, for the most part, it's fine. But I got a call this morning from one of our agents that said, hey, look, so my client gave up his earnest money to get an extension on a deal. And now that he's not performing again, and now they're wanting like $10,000 more for this. I got him signed a hold harmless to release his earnest money so he can't sue us. But, so he's not going to sue us. But, I go, stop. Because first of all, I don't care what he signed. Anybody that wants to sue somebody can sue somebody, and people that are people in that particular line of business are going to be prone to call attorneys, especially when they lose money. It's what it's going to happen. I said, so understand, under our contract, the way that it reads for our agents is we cover the deductible. Like we cover our deductible, which is $10,000. We cover it for our agents because there's so many nuisance lawsuits. I'm not going to hold them responsible for it. But if it's something that's egregious, we make the agent pay it. That's what our contract says. In moments that are egregious, and we are the judge and jury of that, the agent has to pay it. And I said, you know how I feel about people that buy this product. So if they sue us, you're going to pay it. So you probably need to figure out how to work this out.
Right.
Because so many people think, well, they signed something saying I can't sue me. They're not going to sue me. I have a contract. None of that matters.
Nothing matters in life and law. You have a contract. That just means that now you want someone else to try to interpret what it means. That's what you're going to pay for.
Yep. Yeah.
People think that a contract is this thing that means something. And I go, you have to understand that a contract are just a bunch of words, right? Now, words can have 12 different meanings. Sometimes it's just slam dunk, cut and dry, and it becomes actually what we call a Rule 11 violation to sue over it. If it's an absolute slam dunk, you can try to get your attorney's fees.
Right.
But under the American rule, you don't get attorney's fees unless there's a provision in the contract or a couple other ways. So a lot of times it's a zero-sum game, and with the only people making the sum the attorneys. So people will sue you sometimes to try to shake you down.
Oh, for sure. Because they're just trying to, Well, again, so many lawsuits that we deal with, we really look at it. What's the cost of being right?
Right.
Sure.
And what's the cost to make this go away? And so many companies do that. Because it doesn't matter. People are going to do whatever they're going to do, which, brings me to my next thought. I can't stand, and I mean can't stand this person.
Chili's.
Chili's. Number one, it's you, buddy.
Wait, it's not.
I'm not
Chili's?
done with you, Chili's. I forgot about
Chili's.
that. It's not Chili's. Again, if you'd like to know what happened, Sue, what did Chili's do to John Gafford? You're not going to find anything yet, but one day you will because it'll be settled. It's not over yet.
Why is that not trending?
It should be trending by now, but yeah. So anyway,
who fired Brad's wife?
You know what I hate? I hate the asshole. Do you deal with a lot of asshole?
Yeah.
In case you don't know what an asshole is, this is what an asshole is. An asshole is somebody that comes to you and says, I need your advice. You've been through the exact scenario of what I'm dealing with right now, so I need your particular brand of advice to help me through this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that advice you give me, and I'm going to do the polar opposite.
Or fucking nothing at all.
I'm going to be dead stagnant. I'm going to sit and wallow in my own misery, or I'm going to do the polar opposite, and then I'm going to come back to you and cry to you that my situation has worsened or not gotten better. That's an asshole.
I literally described an asshole in this program very recently.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, if you want to blow out your mentor, like 2 seconds, do that. Because if people are donating their time and information to you, now granted, we all have that friend, Cliff Clavin, that, let me tell you what you need to do about that, even though they have no frame of reference. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you go to somebody that has built widgets for 40 years and say, I have a problem with my widget factory.
You need to do X, Y, Z with your widget.
And then you go do A, B, C and your widget factory burns to the ground. Don't go back to him and tell him that. Just expect him to never help you again.
Just be like, I
had that just happen to me. Someone goes, hey...
Colt, I'm on widgets.
Yeah, no.
Widgets for a new generation.
No, but somebody had a building and the family member passed away and they really needed money. And they go, well, should we sell it or lease it? I go, you tell me. We just want to sell it. They call and go, hey, somebody wants to lease it that we know. And they send me the lease and I go, absolutely don't do that lease. You are devaluing your property from $1.5 million to $900,000 at best. I said, do you need help? No, we won't do the lease then. Calls back a week later. All right, we did the lease. And I go, okay. And they're like, so when you go to show it, just let me know. And I go, I can't go show it now.
No.
Now it's worth, how do you want me to sell a $900,000 building now for $1.5 million? And I gave up the listing. And they kind of got a little upset, but You did the opposite of what I told you to do.
For me, it was a situation where I have flipped literally over 100 homes. I mean, I've flipped a lot of houses in my life, and some guys on our office side, they want to get in the flipping business. They grab a pretty good deal on a house, and the renovation is all going to be just lipstick. They're not doing any they're not moving any walls. They're not doing any plumbing. They're not doing any of that stuff. It's all cosmetic. So I'm like, okay, go to this place. This is where you need to shop for your flooring. Go here for your countertops. Go here for your cabinets. They'll refer you installers, go here for this. And I kind of laid it out to them, everything they needed to do. And then I walk in the office 2 days ago and they're like shaking their heads and, heads in palms. I'm like, what's wrong? They go, well, this contractor gave us a bid for $120,000. I'm like, why are you hiring a contractor? You're talking about paint
told you what to do.
And flooring.
What to do.
Like, right now, there are contractors are just giving insane bids because they don't have anybody to do the work. Yeah, they don't want you to say yes to this number because if you say yes, now they have to scramble and find the subs. None of this required a contractor. It could have very easily been done just by them. And again, this was something that I literally spent 30 minutes of my life laying this out for them. Mm-hmm. And then they're smart. Well, never done this before. I'm going to go hire a contractor who's it's like,
people need to realize you get pissed off when somebody breaks up with their girl and they're, well, what should I do? Don't go back with that girl, right? Yeah. Like she was horrible for you. They go back. Everybody does that,
She's a
right?
monster.
She's a monster. She's banging everybody else and they go back.
Isn't that the best when your buddy breaks up with this girl and you're like, she was a whore. We all hate her. And then they're back together like 3 days later.
I banged her a year ago. You didn't know it.
You would say it like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, she's a whore.
But no, people always get mad at that, but they do the same thing in business. Like then they go and they don't realize, well, why are you mad at me?
It's not that I'm mad. You just stop.
No.
You just stop
just
helping.
Annoyed me.
You just annoy me to stop helping.
You don't respect my time or my opinion. So people do that in business and in life or whatever because you're comfortable with what you know and you're comfortable. And you think, well, you got it. Because he probably talked to another guy that said, well, you got to get a contractor because I heard this guy didn't have a contractor and these trades screwed him and whatever. Yeah. So no, I have a little bit of sympathy. You can kind of, burn me once.
Yeah.
But
not burn me twice.
Yeah, it's
oh boy. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about direct mail strategies because I think pretty much every realtor on the planet does it wrong. We're also going to talk about purpose-driven business is something that's near and dear to my heart. And then I'm going to kind of let Colt have control. So, God, who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Two-time Olympian.
Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com. where we'll share any links that things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at @thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.